This is a 1996 Toyota Corolla Premio with a 7AFE 1.8 litre motor in it. This is the AT211 model, and I've just replaced the clutch on it, and there's a few hot tips that I've discovered along the way that you may find useful. It's not necessarily the right way to do it, it's just the way I did it, and it worked for me. So, to make your life easier, you want to remove the radiator for the coolant. You're going to need to move this engine around a little bit, and by disconnecting the radiator and removing it completely, it gives you a bit more room. Also, make sure you remove the exhaust pipe from the exhaust manifold, a little bit of WD-40 before you undo those bolts. There's 4 engine mounts in this car. There's the one over on the left hand side. This is a right hand drive car, so it might be different for you, but on my on the right hand side of the vehicle, that one doesn't get removed. There's the front engine mount, which attaches to the north-south cross member, which I've removed, and I'll show you that under the car. Then there's the left hand side engine mount, which attaches to the gearbox, and I've left it attached to the car itself, and just removed the center bolt that goes through the bushing. And I will show you the rear engine mount from underneath the car. So this is the east-west cross member that the steering rack sits in. Some videos will tell you to take the steering rack out, but you don't need to. You can basically remove the rear engine mount, which I'll show you in a minute. It's attached by 4 connection points, these 2 bolts here, one of which is actually also screwed into the north-south cross member, and then in these 2 holes here, which are capped by these plastic caps, 2 14mm nuts, and you require a long reach socket to get to those. So those 4 will need to be removed so you can do the next bit. So this is the rear engine mount, and there's essentially 3 parts to it. There's the bracket that's attached to the back of the gearbox. You can see it's where the axles go in, or axle goes in. Then you've got the bracket here, which is attached to the east-west cross member, and then in the middle you've got the bushing and the bolt that slides through that. The way to remove it is you remove the bolt that slides through the bushing completely. Now make sure you've got your engine jacked up, sort of, or supported by a jack before you do this, because you've already removed the cross member on the front and also on the left hand side. And then what you want to do is you want to undo those 4 connection points I showed you earlier, and as you move the engine forward towards the car, you essentially need to kind of wriggle it and shake it and move it around, because this bracket that's attached to the cross member will now move. It won't come out necessarily completely. It'll just sort of move around to be free. There's no way you're going to be able to undo this bracket off the gearbox in its current position, and so you need to do it this way. Anyway, you wriggle it, move it around, and eventually what will happen is the bracket will come away from the bushing area, and you will be able to drop the gearbox off. Obviously you've removed things like all the accessories from the top and the gear linkages and other bits and pieces first.